Hello everyone, it's Julie Edwards at Craft So Cute, and I am just going to do what Shabby Dabby Doodle says, mass make. What I've been doing, if I sound exhausted, I apologize. I'm exhausted. I've had my granddaughter again today, unexpectedly, and I guess I will be finishing out this week watching her. Because my older granddaughter, her sister, decided that she is going to finish out the rest of the school year, which really, I have no idea what they're doing. But she decided that she is going to be on her campus this week, and so I have her. And so by the time I actually get in here, it is in the evening, and I usually get in here probably around 5 o'clock. But I find myself asleep in my chair. So what I did was I started videoing and didn't realize that I had fallen asleep. So I erased that video. You could hear me snoring in that video. So I thought, well, right now I have a little bit of energy. I'm going to try and get through a video. And what I'm doing is compiling everything that I want to go in my Steampunk Journal. Let me give you a quick reminder of the Steampunk Journal that I made the cover and I shared on Andrea Allen's Facebook group. And this is going to be a 2-ring binder, A-frame structure type journal that houses 3 signatures. And as I'm going through my stash, it could change. So what I've decided I'm going to do is what I'll show you here in a few seconds. I'm going to set this aside. While I was doing this, I decided, oh, I should just video record this. I made 2 of them. I'm not finished with it, but I'm just doing like the main cover front, and then I'll go ahead and Mod Podge or decoupage the back of it. But what I have and what I'm using right now is this envelope. It's a craft envelope that I found recently at Hobby Lobby last Saturday. I went there because they had some really good sales, and I bought this 50 pack of these envelopes. They were asking $12.99 originally, but I got it for $6. It was half off. So what I'm doing is taking, let's see if I can find it. I did have it up here. Where did it go? Did it fall? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on. Ah, here it is. I also purchased this lace type gift wrap tissue paper at Hobby Lobby, along with this one and along with this one, the newsprint. Yeah, I think you could better see it like that. But I purchased this. This was $1.99, and I got this at half off, so this was $1 each. And so I started using the lace. And what I'm going to do is do 3 of this pattern, 3 of the newsprint pattern, and 3 of this pattern. And then what my thinking was that if I don't use this idea, at least I have some of these for another project. But I started thinking that, so I did the front, and here's the back of the envelope, and I will cover this one, I think. I believe I will cover it all, the entire, in it, so it looks like a complete lace envelope. And while this is slightly taller than my folder that has my signatures inside, I haven't finished compiling my paper. Here I'm going to be using some Artie Maze digis to go in between these tea-stained papers. And so I'm thinking, because the envelope is this tall, I may have to trim off some of this. That means I will have this pocket and this pocket, or actually this opening and this opening. So if I did cut this down, what I'm going to do is go ahead and glue this shut so it's the same height as this, because I'm thinking about putting holes in here, hole punches, using the hole punch and put holes here, and that way it can flip over. Let me show you how it would be set up. So, having my cover, remember in my previous video that I had the binding system like this. So the journal's sat in between here. There's going to be 3 signatures. So if I eliminate this whole structure and make about 3, 6, 9, I said 3 each of each design. I may do more because I'm thinking if I use the hole punch, so this will flip over, okay, when your journal's laid down, and this will flip over, and then this will flip over. So I thought I would decorate the front using Andrea's kits, and then as you flip it over or even remove it, this will be nicely decorated. But inside, when you open this flap up, it will have, a few of them will have a journal, so I may have to, let's see if I can stick this whole thing in here. It should fit. So here we go. So if the journal is in, here's the front of the, and I'll have the hole punches right here. And then each one, when you flip it over, you can release a signature from the pocket. And then this I was thinking on, oh, I know I have some made. Let me see if I can find it. I put it in there. Oh, there. Have they gone? Why? Huh. I had them in little containers as my granddaughter ran off with them. It's possible because she does wander in my craft room while she's here. She's pretty good at not touching everything. She knows not to touch anything that might cut her. So, taking this, and let's see, do I have a card? Oh. Sorry, guys. But as my brain is thinking, get some cardstock, right? Punch these little holes out. And then I was thinking using this type of enclosure, putting a brad here and here, and then tying it like those coin pouches. I guess they would be coin pouches. So this is just, it's not necessarily I'm going to use these, but I'm just giving an example of what my head is thinking. So I'll use this as a closure and tie some baker's twine here, or some ribbon. I'm not sure yet. If this is what I'm thinking, oh, excuse me. So if I have a few of these, even just 3 of them, using each pattern, or maybe using all 3 lace patterns, and each one of these will house signature. So that way when you flip it over, instead of removing it out of the binding, the ring binding, just open it up, open your envelope up and pull out your signature to work on your journal. And when you're done, you know, writing in your journal and journaling and doodling or whatever you're going to use your journal with, then when you're finished, while it's on the binder, the ring binder, you could just slip this back in. I may cut this off. If I choose to do this, use that idea, I may cut this off because this just gets in the way. It makes it difficult to slide in your signature. But, you know, this is just a thought because, you know, once we're working in our journals and decorating it and putting all of our embellishments on it, it gets pretty thick. So I don't know if this idea would quite work unless I take my scoreboard and score it here a few times so that it has a little curvature. I hope I wasn't off screen, but here, let me use my dowel. Let's see if my dowel would help bend this. I usually use my dowel to help bend my signature so it gives it that curve. I think that worked. So yeah, see how it curved? Let's see. You can see it right there that it helps it curve up, so it might work. This might end up working. So that's just an idea, everyone. If you want to choose to try something like this, now your signatures don't have to be this tall. You can go even smaller. But that's what I'm thinking. So let me know what you guys think about that idea. Okay, so again, I was thinking about putting the hole punch here and here to fit in the ring binding. Then you flip it over, open up your flap, and remove your signature. And when you're done writing in your journal, you just stick it right back in, close it up with the twine, and then it's back in place. So that's my thought process, okay? And if I forget, I'll have the video that I just made to watch and remind myself of the idea. So that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. And let me work on the other envelopes. So I've done these. I've covered the fronts of the envelopes here, and I'll do the back. I was just making sure all of this dried up completely so I can turn them over and do the other side of the other side. Now, what I have done, which I will show you in a tutorial. I stuck it here under my desk. I have this little box. I'm going to try and I have other things that I've made, but let me take this out and show you what I've made. So I took out my embossing powders yesterday and today. Yesterday evening and this evening, and I made this first, which was, sorry folks, okay, take a deep breath, yawn a little bit. Oh, I know that's catchy. I hope I'm not making anyone fall asleep, but I made this by watching Joy DeFee take, I have these three colors, the black, white, and craft color cupcake liners. And I took cupcake liner, she took one of these and she opened it up, just flattened it out. And I'll do process video on this unless you want to go straight over to Joy DeFee's. And she made this, she turned this, which is really almost paper thin. You know how thin cupcake liners are. And after you emboss this with your powders, it becomes pretty sturdy and pretty tough, pretty durable. So I used my, what I initially did was I laid down Mystic Blue, because you know when copper is wet and it sits for a very long time, it starts to oxidize and take on this blue tint. Well, that's what this is for. And what I did was I started off by waxing. I waxed the whole thing, let it dry, you know, rubbed it out, make sure none of it's coming off. And then I took my Versamark and I just went over this, actually like this. Here's my Versamark. Opened it up, you know, and then just went like this really quick around the cupcake liner and put on the silver first, and then I embossed it. Once that was set, I got my ink, my Versamark ink, and went over it again, then applied black to this, my black embossing powder. So as you could see the black in there, and it gives it some depth in here. And I'm just using the embossing powders that I have. So, and then once that was set, I went and applied the Versamark ink, and then I added the copper embossing powder, and this is what it came out to. And then how that turned out, what I made with that by using I took out a clock. It was a little 1-inch clock and a digi, and I blew it up. It's what is the circumference? The circumference is probably, it is it's actually about 3 1/4 the diameter. And I took my stamp here, this postcard stamp, and I applied the Versamark to the stamp, and then I pressed it on here, and then I used my black embossing powder to create the signature of the, it's got the beautiful signature handwriting, it's got that beautiful stamp, and so it's like, it's a postcard stamp actually. If you look at it, this is what that stamp looks like. And I used this portion right here. So then I took some of my rose gold wax, and then I just lightly brushed the outer part to just give it another depth of texture and depth, and it made the black ink, the black embossing powder, stand out. And then I cut out the words from the kit, from Andrea and Steampunk kit, and again, it is her old and new Steampunk kits that I'll be using, as well as other digital kits that I have purchased from her. I will be using for this specific Steampunk journal because I absolutely love it. And then what I did was I did some layering. Let's see if you could see that. My lighting is, it's because the embossing, it throws off in some shine. So I put a cog, I laid a cog down and a little cog down, but underneath that I added some white lace and some feathering, because you know Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady, she was dressed in this black and white beautiful dress on opening day at the races, and that was her first trial run in public. And so this color will stay out through the theme of the steampunk, because it is Eliza Doolittle and My Fair Lady. She's become, after her newfound knowledge and experience, she has become an industrious woman. And it took courage. It took her courage. Remember, the money that Mr. Higgins, Professor Higgins gave her, remember when she was selling the little flowers at the theater? He dropped in some money in her basket, and she used that money to pay for her education with Professor Higgins. Well, if you don't know the story, it's worth watching, and the version I watched is with Audrey Hepburn in it, and her name is Eliza Doolittle, and she wore this on opening day, the black and white. And I have these little, and then these are brads on the back here, punched a hole, and I attached this with this already distressed brads that I did purchase and I found at Hobby Lobby, because before I was taking my gold brads that I have and sanding it down, leaving a little bit of gold on it, just sanding it down, roughing it up so the wax stays on it. So that's what I was doing, and I did that on this cover over here. Oh, you can't see it now. I don't want to open up the whole thing, but I'll show you later when I do decide to open that up again, when we do the flip through. So I put courage on there because it took her courage to even go there, for ask to be taught and to be turned into a refined lady so she can open up a flower shop. Took courage to even stick it out with Professor Higgins, because he was a sarcastic son of a gun, wasn't he? Everybody knows. If you don't, please watch the movie. It's funny. I love it. It's just it's such a beautiful story of a girl, gutter rat, going from rags to riches. So anyway, that's what I made. And so I thought that either I'm going to put these elements here on each of these envelopes, or do something entirely different with each envelope. I'm not sure yet. So when I turned on YouTube while I was watching the grandbaby, because I can't craft while she's here, I watched YouTube and for inspiration, and I saw Joy DeFee in there, and she took the cupcake liners, and I thought, well, I've got tons of those. I want to try and use them up. So what I did was I attempted this on my own, and I think I did pretty darn good. She had other cool embossing powders, which eventually, if I go back to Hobby Lobby, I'm going to pick up. So that's what I made for this. Oh, and if you're looking at this owl, sorry about that. Let me know what you think, if I should add him onto there. But the only reason why I haven't added him is because he melts into this background here, and he doesn't quite stick out. And then of course I didn't want to cover this, but it looks like I might have to, but I may not use him, this little owl mask. So I don't know yet. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I'll figure out what we're gonna do with these. I'm not that seasoned like all of you veterans crafters. I just watch you, and you guys are just throwing things out there, getting, and for me it takes a minute. I'm thinking, okay, I did this, I did that, I'm layering this, I'm layering that, what else can I put? But you guys just punch it out. I mean, you guys are just amazing. So it takes me a minute to even get to this point. So, but I do get there in the end. right? The turtle wins the race. Remember the hare and the rabbit? I mean, the hare is the rabbit and the turtle, the hare and the turtle. Slow as and steady as the turtle is, he ends up winning the race. Well, that's me, I think. Maybe I'll win this race. Okay, so that's what I have done so far with trying to come up with ideas for embellishing my covers. Like, for example, this envelope could be a cover, like I showed you, sticking the signature inside. And I was also thinking about using it on top of here, topping these covers. Not sure yet. See how that looks? Thinking, does that work? I know it works. You know, and each element, like I said, with my version of My Fair Lady, I know she falls in love with Professor Higgins, and it's assumed that they get married, right? But for my version of her, yes, I don't mind her marrying Mr. Higgins, but I'm hoping that she has a discovery of herself time, that she, you know, oh gosh, pause for lack of better words, and being tired, ventures out and discover who she is, becoming her, you know, woman. I mean, you know, because knowledge is power, right? When you have knowledge, you just want to take on the whole world, and I'm hoping that she's like that. You know, maybe she's, you know, opened up her shop, not just a flower shop, but maybe a dress shop, you know, because back then, Victorian women, they sewed, you know. She could have been a clothing designer. She could be a writer, you know. She could be, who knows? Because back then, remember, women weren't supposed to have jobs. They were supposed to be married, take care of the husband, have children, provide an heir, run the whole house, you know, and that's pretty much it, you know. And they weren't allowed to go out and earn their own money back in the Victorian era. So I'm hoping that, you know, that's my version, that she does go out and uses her newfound knowledge and courage to go and follow her dreams. So throughout this journal making, it's going to have all of those elements. I'm going to have where it took courage for her to go and see Professor Higgins for education. You know, like us, when it comes to journal writing, when you take out this journal, this could be a journal about your journey in life, about what it took you when you had to become courageous and have courage to maybe even go back into school, maybe because you haven't worked so long, you've been a housewife, and you said, well, I'm going to go out of job. It takes courage to go back out in the work field if you haven't been out in the work field in a very long time. It also takes courage to go out in the work field if you've never, you know, had a job, that you were just a housewife. It takes courage to move to another country, you know, to go and pursue your work, your life's pursuits, like work or, you know, whatever it is, an entire move. Maybe you decided you're going to move to Europe because you've always wanted to live there. It takes courage. It takes a lot of courage. So this journal, this first signature, can be all about that. And that's why I decided that I'm going to put these elements in front, but each word that we have will signify a part of what you want to journal about. And in her kit, she has destiny. You know, you could have, it could be another signature that, like this that I have, not exactly like this. It will have black and white elements. Each one will look different, but it will have a word that is symbolic to your life. And it was also symbolic to Eliza Doolittle. Okay, it took courage to leave what she was so familiar with, living in, if you notice how dirty she was, right? look at when she had to get into the bath. She didn't even want to get into the tub. She says, oh no, no, I won't get in. I'm a good girl, I am, remember? And they had to put her and scrub her down. She never had a bath, so she was afraid to have a bath. I mean, it takes courage, okay, to do, you know, it might take you courage. You've never taken swimming lessons. It'll take you courage to go and take some lessons and learn how to swim. I mean, this is so apropos. So that's what these are going to be. My journal is going to have this artistic element where it's a centerpiece that you can talk about, and a personal oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm fumbling. Be patient with me. A very personal and private way to put all of your things that you had to go through in life. Or maybe it could be all your future things that you want to do, like your bucket list. This could be the first signature of a bucket list, okay? Because it takes courage to go and do all of those things that you want to do, okay? So anyway, enough of that jibber jabber. I'm done jibber jabbering, so I'm going to put this away. So that is my thought process on, oh, here's, I got my box. I'm keeping my little box here to put all the things that I have made. I have to put more in here that I've made. I would show you, but I don't have them readily available. And if I do try and show you right now, it'll take a few moments to try and find them and dig that out. So I'm making my envelopes. I gave you an idea of what you could do with these instead of what I have. You can use these envelopes to house each journal. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this one. I would show you, maybe I should show you how I did. Anyone knows how to Mod Podge, right? So I'm going to set that aside, and I am going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to show you how I embossed. I'm a beginner, okay? I'm sure you'll know how to do that, but just for those few people out there that are like me, that have never did anything like this, because I told myself in my journals I do want to start adding some mixed media work in it. And even while I have always been a drawer and a painter, you know, paint art, I've never did anything remotely close to mixed media using gesso. I mean, I've used acrylic paints, but I've never used those modeling pastes, in which I will use in this journal. I will have all of those mixed media elements because I'm determined that this journal will have it, so I can make a complete, legitimate, or worthy steampunk of it being worthy of a steampunk journal. And I don't know if, you know, if it has certain stipulations. I know that I've seen a lot of steampunk books where it's just the cover that has all those cool elements on it, and then there are only a few of those journals out there that have other, you know, mixed media stuff in there. I mean, they use the chains like I used on my cover. They use the chains, cogs, and, you know, charms and things of that nature that embellish a steampunk journal. Some not some, but I've seen one use wire, which I'm going to end up using wire. I'm going to have some wired elements in my inside my journal. This is gonna, it's taking me forever. I would have come quite a bit. I would have come quite a ways away. I would have come along further, excuse me. I'm fumbling because I am tired. It is in my time. It's almost, I'll tell you what time it is. Oh, it's 11:13. 11:13 at night. And I stay up later because my husband gets home about 12:15, 12:20. And when he comes in, I stop. I put things away. But I did tell him that I was videoing. And I wanted to get something out there. I wanted to get something done on video. Just to show you that I am connected and I am true to my word that I am going to be doing a process video of my Steampunk Journal. And so what I did was I took this Mystic turquoise, and as you can see, I'm taking the wax and I'm laying it down, just getting it in there. You know, I know it may look like a lot and might look really blue, but you want that wax in there because by the time you're done layering all of your embossing powders, you don't see it a lot, but that's what you're trying to accomplish, because what this is supposed to mimic is oxidation. You know, when copper starts turning that turquoise and has that bluish tint. And the only reason why I got this Mystic color is because I saw someone else use this Mystic color. And I know that there's another, when you have seen a copper penny oxidize, actually looks like turquoise. And when I went to Hobby Lobby to look for that, they were out, completely out. Okay, so I have to go again and hope that they do have it in stock. I can use it. But this is pretty cool anyway. I should have probably focused in on the element that I made, that little topper there, to show you where the blue had stood out, and it looks like it's like the starting point of the oxidation. So it adds it's pretty cool. It's very subtle, but you can tell that copper is starting to oxidize. Let me get another wet wipe. And a sip of water for good measure. Okay. Okay. So hopefully this wax is good and on there. I want to make sure that it's, you know, buffed out as much as I can. Get it to buff out, because I don't want this wax sticking to my Versamark ink pad. So see, I could tell there's just a little bit. Just want to make sure. There. Yep. I think we're good to go. But I think what I'm going to do is just touch it up with my heat gun a little bit. Make sure that it's dry. That should be good. This stuff smells really good. It smells like it should. It's like a, if you can see the tint, that Mystic turquoise. Looks like a lot, but by the time we're done with this, you barely see just hints of it, and that's what we're going for. Okay, so now that I used, this is my little sprayer thing, I'll bring back this tray that I initially brought up here. As you can see, I was See if I was using my triple thick embossing for the owl face. Let's see if I could use. Okay. Let's get my ink pad. I'm trying to use this old one. It was doing pretty good the other day. Yeah, I guess I have to just press down really hard on it. Let's see how much. This might almost be gone. So just see if you see that I'm spreading this all over. Trying to make sure that there is enough on here. If it doesn't stick to this, then I know this is bone dry. And I don't know if they have any refill inks for that, but I guess we'll find out. So here we go. We're going to do silver first. Okay, let's see if that's pretty good there. Ooh, yes. So you're saying, well, gosh, Jules, it's kind of covered all the blue, but yes, but this is what I do. I start going and just taking some of this off. See that? Now that it gets exposed, that with those wrinkles there. See, I'm just kind of rubbing some of it off right here. I'm hoping you can see that, so you can see some of that blue peeking out. Okay. Let me put this down here. Let's clean up our little mess here. Oh, and I'll tell you, if you have that embossing, I don't know what you can call this little pad, it's worth getting. What I did earlier was and I didn't do it again to this sheet right here. I should have powdered it up so it doesn't stick. Oop. Let's not waste this, okay? Let's not waste it. These little jars are expensive. They're $6 a little jar here. I don't know if that's an excellent price. It could be. Okay. Here we go. So this is going to come back on. Let's start embossing this. Here we go. The silver is starting to come alive. I'm sure you can see that. I think this is so cool. I love this stuff. I totally do. She's pretty awesome. Whoever dreamt this up is like genius. And you can see there's some of that blue peeking out, right? Subtle. The Mystic Turquoise. That's good. Whatever is inside of that Mystic Turquoise wax, oh my gosh, smells so good. It almost smells like vanilla. Here you go. And you can see it has the turquoise sheen inside the grooves, and that's what you want. See? So now that's what that looks like. See that? It's real shiny, but I'm pretty sure you can see that Mystic Turquoise. Okay, so now set this on. Let me try and okay. Yeah, that didn't make sense. I brushed off my piece of paper. There. Take out this little powder, and this is what I do. Just kind of, and this helps put all those little extras that we tap off. It helps it not to stick to the paper like static clean. I guess it's a static free thing. You know, so the powder, it's, I guess because it's, I don't know why it's static, but okay. Here we are again. And I'm going to use, since this still had some, I'm going to use this again. And I'm going to just dab this, press down on it because it's still got some life into this ink pad. I don't want to use my new one. Just add some more crinkles to this. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, now I'm going to add some black to this. It has been super hot. Okay, I live here in Georgia, northern Georgia, because I'm like 30 minutes away from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I am a Cali gal. Moved here to the country because my husband was born and raised here, and he moved back here because his mama was not doing well. So we kind of packed up. We weren't absolutely sure if we were going to move back here. We considered it. Well, him moving back here, I'm going to just brush some of this off because I don't want it like entirely taking over the silver. So I just kind of, if you could see what I'm doing, just trying to get this black where it looks like it's inside the little grooves. Okay. So let me deposit this back here. Let's go ahead and get our... I know they make a specific tray for this, but it's like, really? I don't know if I'm going to spend the money for the tray. I don't think it's necessary. But see, it takes off that static-free powder. Allows you to remove the excess without it sticking a whole lot to the paper. Because you know, as crafters, waste not, want not, right? Oh my. Try and... Oh goodness. Pick it up, Julie. Okay. So here we go. Okay. And I'm just using my pokey tool. To hold it down. and fly away on us. I don't know if this is taking. I don't think I had enough Versamark. It's black here. I don't know, let's see. But my angle right now is a little wonky. Okay, let's see how that came out. Okay, here we go. So we got the black, and it's showing, what it's doing is allowing it to give this liner depth, so it looks like a cog element, a gear element, like a metal element. It's pretty cool looking. Well, Joy DeFee just goes right through this. I mean, she just zippity-doo-dah day right through this whole thing. Of course, you could tell she's a seasoned craftier. Okay, so for us beginners, it's like slow and steady, but slow and steady is good, right? Yeah, I think so. Slow and steady for us so we can perfect this craft. And then, so now what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to just crinkle this up a little bit and just kind of, because I want to get some really cool features onto this. And what I'm going to do is use the new one. I have to use the new one because that one is a little dry. So I'm going to just brush it. I'm not going to press very hard on this one. What I'm wanting to do is get the top portions of this ridge and then some inside. So I'm just going to lightly run this over it, like so. Dab it here and there. Let's see how much of this copper I'm not pressing, just brushing over it. Let's see how well that did. Because see, I'm still learning how much pressure to put down on the Versamark, because you don't want to just like waste a lot of it, you know, just enough pressure to apply it. Okay, so here is the copper. When I was there at Hobby Lobby, I wanted the antique gold, because I have gold already. I wanted the antique gold. Thought I had it in my cart, but apparently not. Okay. Okay, I'll show you here in just a sec. So, just go like this. See how much. There. Let's see how far we come along with this copper. All right. have to apply some more copper to this. Oh, that's beautiful. Can you see that turning? Yeah. Ah. Well, it's super hot, like I was saying, and oh my gosh, it's in the upper 90s, and if you know anything about the South, you get the humidity. Now, how my mother referenced it, when she came out here for the first time, she said, "Oh, this is not bad. It's like Okinawa." Okay, and now we know how Okinawa feels, right? With all that humidity. And she goes, "Oh, this is not bad." I said, "Yeah, Mom, for you, because you were raised in humidity, you know." But she lived on the ocean, you know, it's an island, and they lived on the cliffside of Okinawa. It looks like I got all these in here. Run over it again. I guess I didn't get it. Do a good job here. So they had a nice ocean breeze, so that makes that kind of humidity tolerable, I would think. Out here, there's nothing, no breeze, it's just at a standstill. So just imagine, for all you Southerners that are out there watching this, you know, oh my goodness. So what do you think about that? Pretty cool, huh? I'm hoping you can see how there's like that oxidation going on in the copper. This is that oxidation that's starting to happen on this copper, with copper. And that's the look that I'm going for, is having this oxidized look. I wish I had that other turquoise one, because that's even, I would add even more to this. But I think I might leave it like this, because if I add more, it's just going to be covered up here. So the main feature is like right out here. So most of this in the center is going to be covered up. So I think that's pretty good. So that's what this looks like. And let me show you another step. And when you think, oh, it just looks a little bit too shiny, well, I can take care of that for you. I'll show you what I do and what I've done. Oh, hang on a second. Sorry about that. I should just do that later, but all these little tad bits right here is just from 2 days of doing this. I just want to get it up in one pile so I can make my cleanup a little bit easier. Okay. When I first did this, my frustration was, I was like, why is this embossing powder going everywhere? Oh my gosh, it's not supposed to do this. It was just, every time I would apply it, it was going everywhere. I'm like, what in the world? I almost gave up using it. But then I thought, it's because I have my overhead fan on high. So I had to turn it off. I'm like, okay. So if you're working with a ceiling fan and you're going to start embossing, I suggest that you turn off your ceiling fan, okay? Because it will be everywhere. Everywhere. On your desk, on your tools, on you. Yeah, see, like this a little bit. Okay. So, to me, this looks a little bit too shiny, like a brand new penny. So what I've done is use this, taken my vintage photo. I think it's getting a little dry, but taking the vintage photo first, trying to get this, and I just kind of go over this and apply this distress ink. I think distress oxide would be a lot better, but this does work. Just keep applying it. And it takes a lot of this dullness out. I mean the shininess. And dulls it up for you. Like it's, you know, a penny that's been circulating for some time. I don't know if you can see that. It's starting to dull it down. And I think the reason why this is not happening too quickly is because my vintage photo is almost gone. Yeah. See, there's some right there. Mop that up. So in person, you could see it dulling down the copper. And then what I do is, because I've been going back and forth with this, I just go straight to my my black soot. Yep, black soot, and just kind of go over that with the black soot, just like that. See, and it kind of dulls it down, makes it a little more dirty looking. Dulled it. Doesn't look like it on, even though if I play this back, it might come out looking pretty good, because when I'm watching this to my right over here, when I'm watching it on my TV monitor, it looks bright, but when I play back the video, it looks like, it's like, oh wow, that came out pretty good. Yeah. So there that is, you guys. And then I have Artie Mae's tickets. This one is a little too big. I enlarged it too much. Let's see, where's that gal that I was... See, I was thinking about... Oh, I can take it out. Hang on a second. Where did I put her? These are all of the fussy cutting elements that I have cut out from Andrea's kits. One of her kit. I think this is her newest. No, her older kit. That's the one that I... Let's see if it's... Oh, well, no. Let's see. I did have the smaller tickets. But let's just say, we want to go and, you know, Eliza became, you know, adventurous, you know, so she went for a ride. You know, here she is. I might fussy cut this out, but I enlarged this and used my hole punch and just notched this out to make it look like a stamp. So this, I can fussy cut her out and put her on here as an element feature. I don't want to put anything that is, see if I put that on there, he kind of already blends in. He starts, that looks good though. It might work, but I could probably cut this in half. If I, when I fussy cut him out, oh, here's a smaller version of him right there. If I fussy cut him out, he can go here, you know. What have I done with it? Okay, I don't know. I might take some of this. I'm just throwing stuff out here. This lace paper. I don't know how that look. No, that ain't working. I had a tiny piece of lace up here, and I don't know what I've done with it. It's somewhere, but lace. Oh, where is that one? Here we go. Here's part of the little one that I sewed for the cover. I don't know, put some lace here, you know, right here. You guys know how to layer, right? So, I mean, you can put almost anything in. Oh, and look at this one. I blew this up. That could be a feature. You know, something like that. Or even, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. Let's just see what it's going to look like, right? Because I did think about doing this. So I'm going to fussy cut her out real quick while we're on. I'm going to have to end this video because we're just over an hour. Wasn't planning on going this long again, but it happened. I'm going to go ahead and quickly, and I will probably glossy accent her hat. You know, I was thinking about investing in like those Cricut machines, the Brother Scan and Cut, to just cut all of this out, you know, scan it and then just have it cut all of this out, because, you know, my fingers, like I was saying in the first video, that, my goodness, it gets super fatigued. I mean, I've done so much with my hands. My hands have definitely worked. And, yeah. And I'm feeling it as we grow younger, right? Okay, so here she is. And I was also thinking, oh, what did I do with that piece right here? Let me just show you this. See, you just fussy cut all these little elements out, right? And here are these little goggle thingies. So, I was thinking on doing something like, as we fussy cut all this, I'm using extremely big scissors, and I don't know why. I have smaller ones, but my goodness, these do cut really nicely. Okay, so here she is, putting the goggles on top of her hat. Where's that other board piece that I wanted to use on her? Let me look. Aha! Here we go. Possibilities. The possibilities are endless for Eliza Doolittle. There she is. Isn't she just gorgeous? She's going to take on the whole world. Not the whole world, but you know, her world. She's going to take on her world. Okay, isn't that just gorgeous, right? Throwing some lace down here. I'm not going to glue this down yet because I'm just laying it out. Just laying it out. I may have to stick some white up against this. But all right, here we go. Put some lace over here. Can you see that? Scoot up her glasses. Her goggles. See? How about that? Something like that. Eliza is just so beautiful. That is Eliza Doolittle saying, "The possibilities are endless. A good girl I am. I'm a good girl I am." So you know that's scrap, right? And that's going to go into our little clusters that we make. And this piece also. I'm a good girl I am. And so I can fussy cut this out and put, or here's a stamp of her travels. But it's so monochromatic. Don't you agree? It is just too much of the same color. I'm going to have to do something to brighten this up. But that could be another topper for the second journal or signature. Possibilities. Remember? It took a lot of courage to get her education, and now the possibilities to her are endless. Okay? So how does that apply to our life? Well, possibilities are endless too. Look at us with our crafting, our creations, and the possibilities of creating something fantastic is just endless. I mean, you can see it. Millions and millions of crafters out there. The possibilities are just endless, you know, with all the inspiration that we have out there. Okay? And, you know, when you are determined to venture off and maybe go back to school, you know, furthering your education will open doors and many other possibilities. Like for me, I took architecture and drafting and ended up being a nurse. And then an instructor at a tech college, teaching future nurses with their clinicals and things like that. So, you know, you never know. I mean, it's just the possibilities. It is true. It is endless. If you just keep your eyes focused and moving forward, you know, not looking at all the distractions from the right and left. I mean, that's how one of your journals, I mean, look at my daughter. My goodness, she's come a long, long way. I won't get into that because the video is just now getting way too long. So, but I just want to say thank you for sitting in with me and being patient. You probably don't sit through the whole thing, but, you know, that's what's wonderful about the videos. You can always come back and finish it up to see what my little crazy happy place, what's going on in it. And I just want to tell you guys to keep looking forward to the future. Tough times that we've gone through, and there's light at the end of the tunnel, you know. And I just hope that you stay encouraged and courageous and keep crafting and keep communicating. And, you know, if it means going to school online, you know, go and just keep yourself really busy. Okay? I know that for lots of places that people are still in lockdowns, and, you know, and for us here in Georgia, things have opened up and they're opening up even further. And my thoughts and prayers are with all of you, and I hope everyone is doing well. I'm sorry, I should have asked that a long time ago. But I hope you are. And I just want to say thank you for joining in with me. It means a lot for your support. I do want to get into this. This is something that keeps me busy. And I just want to tell you thank you. Thank you. Please give me a like if you like the content of this video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That would be tremendous support. I do want to, be out there sharing what this beginner has learned, which I am still a beginner. I'm learning quite a bit, and thanks to all of you that are just so amazing and supportive. So I just want to say goodbye now. I really am grateful, and peace and happy crafting. Bye.